Level 1. Floppy disk. Before the floppy disk, your data was trapped, stuck on one machine in one place with no way out. The floppy changed that entirely. Introduced in the 1970s and hitting its stride with the 3.5-inch version in the late 1980s, it was a thin magnetic disk sealed inside a plastic casing. You slid it into a drive, and suddenly your files could travel. That sounds simple, but the implications were enormous. For the first time, ordinary people could carry their work from one computer to another, share documents with colleagues, back things up, hand software to a friend. Computing stopped being a solo activity and became something collaborative. It changed how people thought about data, not as something fixed to a machine, but as something you owned and could move. The limitation? A floppy held just 1.44 megabytes. A single photo on your phone today is larger. And yet people use stacks of these disks to install entire operating systems well into the 1990s. They were slow. They were fragile. Heat, magnets, or a bad bend could wipe them clean. But none of that diminished what they represented. Portability had arrived. And once it arrived, the only question was how far it could go. Level 2. Optical disks. The next leap didn't come from magnetism, it came from light. Optical disks, CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, store data as microscopic pits burned into a reflective surface, read back by a laser. The CD launched in 1982. DVDs followed in the mid-1990s. Blu-ray arrived in 2006. The jump in capacity was staggering. A CD held around 700 megabytes, nearly 500 times a floppy. A DVD pushed that to 4.7 gigabytes. Blu-ray reached 25 to 50 gigabytes on a single disc. Music, films, games, and software all found a home here. One disc, pressed millions of times, shipped everywhere. But optical media had a fatal flaw. One scratch in the wrong place, and the data became unreadable. Entire collections, carefully built over years, could be ruined by careless handling or simple age. Then broadband internet matured. Streaming launched. Downloads became instant. Convenience didn't just compete with optical media, it made it obsolete almost overnight. Storage moved inward, into the machine itself. Level 3. Hard disk drive. IBM introduced the hard drive in 1956. It was the size of a refrigerator and held about 5 megabytes. By the 1980s and 1990s, miniaturized versions had become standard inside personal computers, and everything changed. For the first time, large amounts of data lived permanently on your machine. No disk to insert, no cable to connect. Everything was just there, instantly accessible, always ready. Systems became faster, more self-contained, and dramatically more capable. Digital content exploded in size because storage was finally keeping up. The hard drive works by spinning magnetic platters at high speed while a mechanical arm sweeps back and forth, reading and writing data. And the cost per gigabyte has always been its strongest argument. Hard drives offer more raw storage for less money than almost anything else. But moving parts mean wear. They mean vulnerability. Drop a laptop at the wrong moment and that arm can scratch the platter. Data doesn't degrade. It simply disappears. For bulk storage and backups, hard drives still make sense. But for the primary drive in a modern machine, something better was already on its way. Level 4. USB drive. Flash memory changed portability forever. When USB drives became widely available in the early 2000s, they made the floppy look prehistoric almost immediately. No moving parts, no setup required. Plug it into any machine, drag your files across, and pull it out. Done. Gigabytes of storage small enough to clip onto a keychain. Compatible with virtually every computer on the market. For everyday file sharing, presentations, and quick transfers, nothing matched it. The weaknesses were human, not technical. USB drives are so small they vanish constantly, left in pockets, forgotten in borrowed computers, lost at the bottom of bags. They're also not well suited for long-term archival storage. Data can degrade over years without power to refresh it. But they proved something important. Storage didn't need to be large to be powerful. It just needed to be there when you needed it. Level 5, memory card. If USB drives made storage pocket-sized, memory cards made it invisible. The SD card standard arrived in 1999, with micro SD following in 2005. A format so small it sits on a fingertip, yet capable today of holding an entire terabyte of data. Memory cards exist because cameras, phones, and handheld devices needed storage that matched their size. High-resolution photos, 4K video, hours of audio, all fitting inside something smaller than a postage stamp. The catch is compatibility. Speed class matters enormously. Pair a slow card with a camera shooting high bitrate video, and you'll drop frames or miss shots entirely. The wrong choice of card becomes the bottleneck. It's something most buyers learn only after making the wrong purchase first. Physical storage had become genuinely miniature, but it was still physical, still something you could lose. Level 6, solid-state drive. The SSD is where everything clicked into place. No spinning platters, no mechanical arm. Just flash memory chips accessing data electronically at speeds that made older storage feel like a different era entirely. Consumer SSDs went mainstream in the late 2000s, and their impact was immediate. Computers that took several minutes to start were booting in under 15 seconds. Applications opened before you finished clicking. The entire experience of using a computer shifted, not because processors got faster, but because storage finally stopped being the slowest thing in the room. Two main varieties exist. SATA SSDs are a substantial upgrade over hard drives. NVMe SSDs go further still, connecting directly to the processor and reaching speeds of several gigabytes per second. The difference isn't incremental. It's a different category of experience entirely. SSDs cost more per gigabyte, but for most users today, speed and reliability are worth it. Level 7, cloud. And then storage stopped being a physical object entirely. Cloud storage went mainstream in the 2000s and fundamentally changed the relationship between people and their data. Files no longer live on a single device. They exist on remote servers accessible from any machine with an internet connection. Lose your laptop, break your phone, replace your computer, your data remains completely intact, waiting wherever you log in next. Automatic backups, seamless sharing across devices, real-time collaboration with people anywhere in the world. Things that required significant effort a decade ago now happen invisibly in the background. The dependency is real, though. No internet means no access.